Hello everybody and welcome back to, I believe, part 6 of the Incan Sun God Challenge. We are continuing where we left off, which is colonizing across the South American continent in hope of arriving on the coast where we will hopefully find Europeans. We still have a very terrible king of 011, as you guys can see. He is absolutely terrible, but you know what? We're not going to let that hold us back, so let's begin. So the first order of business is setting a new colonist as... Oh wait, no, hold on. Karumba. We're currently maintaining, I believe, the maximum number of sustainable colonies with our economy. So that being said, let's go ahead and hire a new advisor. None of these are very good. Let's go with the better relations over time. And start pulling these men out. Let's check our force limit. And if you guys remember from last episode, I recently just subjugated the Muasca. They are currently my vassal. So we will be mending relations with them so that we can integrate them. I believe it'll be a little while before we can do that. It'll be 1523. That's fine. So now we're just working on trying to get a foothold, or I guess, yeah, some type of foothold on the eastern coast of modern-day Brazil. So, without further ado, let us begin. Our previous attempts of trying to kill off our king resulted pretty much in nothing, so we're going to have him lead all of our future wars against the Europeans. He's a really terrible leader, but he's very good at surviving, which is most unfortunate. As you guys can see, we're working on multiple colonies. We've got one over here on the western or northwestern coast, and I believe modern-day Ecuador. And we also have one over here, and I believe modern-day either, you know what, that's probably in Paraguay. Let's go ahead and lose ducats. And if we have any casus belli on these guys down here, that'd be great. I don't believe we do, but we can always fabricate one by... Let's see, are you in a defensive war? You are. Fantastic. So what we can do is give them a little bit of money so that we can send our army in and destroy their enemy. So let's go ahead and do that. If you guys are unfamiliar with what I'm about to do, I'm getting their relation to 100, so that way I can enforce a peace. And they may or may not accept. I mean, if they're smart, they certainly will, but knowing the AI, you know... Who knows? We're going to make this, of course, the leader. And we're going to send him down here to fight. It'll take him a little while to get there, of course. But that's fine. The faster we get there, the better. And let's go ahead and enforce that peace. Did not enforce the peace. So we're at war with them. Unfortunately, that means that, whatchamacallit, our manpower quest was forfeited, and it looks like the Guarani are going to make a move. So, that's unfortunate. Maybe they'll give it to me, but I'm pretty sure they won't. With any luck, through some diplomatic maneuvering, I can actually, might be able to vassalize them. And if I do, that means that I'll be dragged into a war with the Guarani, which means that we can get 2 birds with 1 stone. So let's go ahead and see if we can do that. The smarter thing, if I could go back in time, would have been to send this army over here in Karumba, south to Charrua, but, you know, I didn't have the foresight to do that. That was my fault. Let's see if this army moves now that I know. Oh, wow, okay, they're using me as fodder to take the city. Not very good news. Full annexation was demanded. Fuck. Well, that was pretty much the worst thing that could have happened. But we will hopefully be able to fabricate a claim on them very, very soon. After Cuaca is colonized, I'm going to actually be sending a colonist down here to Concepcion, which I believe is in modern-day Paraguay, or Uruguay. I'm not really quite sure on the specifics. And that should be good. In the meantime, let's go ahead and send our king through the malaria-infested jungles of South America in hopes that he will die to a native attack, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen. as he is in full retreat. Let's see. Turn Quok into a city. That's fine. I really wish we still had the manpower quests, but I kind of threw that away, didn't I? It's no problem. We are making a little bit less money now, so let's go ahead and hire another advisor. We are, of course, hemorrhaging money, but that's not a problem. And the only reason we are, actually, is because our men are reinforcing our army, I believe. That is correct. Awesome, awesome, awesome. That'll speed up colonization quite a bit. And it's my hope that we will run into Europeans by about 1520 or 1530. That way we can get a head start on westernization. So for now, let's see if they would ever accept our vassalization. Distance between borders, negative 38, da-da-da-da-da, I think we might be able to. So in that case, let's go ahead and royal marriage them. Oh, they won't accept. Oh, right, because they're native council. Right, okay, of course. So in that case, we will hope that eventually, once we get closer, we can either, you know, forge a claim on them and annex them that way, or we can diplomatically annex them. Of course, I would prefer to diplomatically annex them, as it will bolster our army. The more vassals we get, the better. And 1 second as I think about my next course of action. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to speed up colonization by quite a little bit. And by that I mean we are actually going to form 3 colonies instead of 2. So let's see where, right, okay, so one is right there. We're going to send another one up here, I believe. The more we do, the better. Or perhaps we should do a higher base tax somewhere else. It's really, you know, I'm not really quite sure. Yeah, let's go northwards. So what I'm going to do, as you guys can see, is, should I recall him? I'm not going to actually recall him yet. Well, yeah, why not? So I'm going to recall that guy. They're going to attack. That's fine. And then we're going to send one over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cycle the settler. And you'll see what I mean in just a second. Let's go for stability, of course. It looks like the supply limit is lower than what I expected. And our conquistador has been slain. So now that this one's there, we're going to recall it and send our settler back to the biggest one in hopes that it'll improve our growth rate of colonists. That'd be nice. Of course, we are losing money at a faster rate now, but that's fine. And I could keep going down the exploration path. I'm probably going to do that. I need to be behind just a little bit from tech, from the Europeans, so that I can westernize in the first place. So that'll be a good call. Strategic call. And yeah, so let's see. Rival cities. Administrative power or diplomatic power? Which one do we need more? Let's go with admin. I really want to be ahead in admin. Like I said, diplomacy or diplomatic power is not that important for me at the moment. And we will be moving this 6,000 regiment over here to the southeast. Once I run into the Europeans, I'm going to try to westernize as fast as possible. And thank God our king has died. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a new king. And he's not completely shitty, so that's the good news. I think now that we're okay in admin tech, we might switch over to military tech. Fantastic. And yeah, so I want to stay ahead in military, or at least on parity with the Europeans. I believe at this point they will be at military 7 or military 6, so we have a little bit of ways to go. But then again, we are, I believe, technologically superior to most of the southern. Sorry, that was a tongue twister. The southern Andean people here. As you guys can see, they're 232, pretty pathetic. But that's because they are South American, whereas we are, I believe, Andean. Let's see, yeah. So we have a better tech group, which is nice. I think that Paradox Interactive has just switched that. They changed it up, which is really, really nice. Huesca, okay, absolutely, why not? We have a rebel problem over in Neva, so we're going to be moving. We can't really move too many men. We're going to keep a small group there, but also send in a little group to kind of quell the uprising. It appears the unrest is not too bad. I might actually just... no, it's not going to be a problem. I was gonna say I can screw around with the autonomy, but it's not really an issue. Let's go ahead and look at our ideas here that we've got. We've got Coca, Rite of Passage, and Divination. What does that do? Okay, National Unrest. And I'm trying to figure out what the Incan ideas are. It looks like we get land force limit modifier, idea cost. Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good. And once we get a few more ideas, we get some pretty good ideas here. More discipline, fantastic. That'll definitely help us in fighting the Europeans. Let's go with prestige is fine. So my legitimacy is not very high, but we're going to build it up over time. I believe that's what's contributing to the rebel factions in our country. But like I said, don't worry. All is well. And Karumba is almost finished, which is very, very good news. I think for the next one we will be sending to... I want to send them to the northeast, so... The problem is you have to have a contiguous extension of where you're settling, so I will have to either settle Coxim or Ofe. I'm probably going to settle Ofe. Or maybe Coxim, I don't really know. We will decide here in a few minutes. And I promise that this Let's Play will be a little bit more interesting than the previous ones. I mean, with any luck, we will come into contact with the Western Europeans and kind of fight them on our own territory. Definitely helps that we have a lot of attrition throughout our country in terms of our malarial forests. Right, so let's go ahead and get the next military. So now we get some pretty good units. Incan slingshots, Incan axemen, fantastic, fantastic, fantastic. Let's go with, let's see, what's the best? Do we want the shock or do we want the morale? Or maybe we want a mix of them. I think we probably want a mix. So let's go with South American Forest Warriors, I believe, are our best bet. I mean, if we're going just for attack, it would definitely be the Incan Slingshotters. You know what? Let's go with the South American Forest Warriors. Pretty all around well-balanced unit. And our diplomats have nothing to do. We can hire another military leader, but that means that we will have to wait for 50 military tech. What I'll do is I'll start scouting around quite a little bit with our trusty 6,000 regiment over here. As soon as I get 50 military tech, which should be next month. I want to go ahead and start working diplomatically with, if there's any colonial government up right now, it would help if I got some friendly relations with them, just because I don't want, you know, war. We want to avoid war if we can help it, but if not, you know, war will be on the horizon soon enough. We are sending him in hopes that we will find the Europeans and see exactly where they are. It's of my hope that I can lock them out of most of the interior so they don't colonize the Rio de la Plata, or the River of Gold, I believe in Spanish. And we're just kind of scouting around here. It's a little bit bigger than I expected, to be quite honest with you guys. I didn't expect us to be so many colonies away. And it looks like we've ran into the Europeans. From the looks of it, it looks like the Spaniards. Unless, of course, this is not the Spaniards, but a native tribe. And Karumba has finished. Very, very good. So we're going to settle, I believe... Let's settle Ofe. And we're going to move our guy over there. It looks like we're coming across something. Not really quite sure what it is. But we will find out very shortly. It looks like we have a native tribe over here. And I'm not sure what this is. This might also be another native tribe. We will find out very shortly. We don't really need the prestige. That's fine. Tepuya. Okay. Sorry, I don't mean to be trespassing on your lands. I will move my men off of your territory. We are losing quite a bit of money over time, as we have, I think, more colonies than we can really afford, but, you know, in the event that we do get bankrupt, I can start sacking some of these guys. That'll help out. I don't really need the advisors as much as I did earlier, just because we have less need for it with less shitty king. So as you guys can see here is Portugal. It seems that Brazil will be the first to form as a colonial nation. So immediately, before we do anything else, I need to get closer to Brazil, or sorry, to Portugal, to start increasing our relationship with them. It would really help if I was able to, you know, have a friendship with them, as it'll be very important later on to have a Western European ally, kind of play the Europeans off each other. Okay, now we have a colonial territory. And wow, would you look at that military tech of 9. That is absolutely incredible. Really, really bad news for us. So we will definitely be trying to make good friends with them. Colonialist Rush, very, very nice. So they're actually more technologically advanced than I expected. And I'm going to try to lock them out of interior Brazil as fast as I can. Of course, we were at a major disadvantage with our string of terrible rulers. If I was somehow able to maintain a decent ruler, we would not have had this problem. But that's okay. I mean, these things happen. Portugal seems really only interested in colonizing the coast, but they've got 3 colonists up, which is pretty scary. And like I said, I'll be focusing exclusively on this area as soon as Muisca is vassalized. More European diseases, of course. Nothing is easy for us. And now we're going to go ahead and start sacking our advisors. This is only to afford, once again, to reiterate, this is only to afford being able to afford for their upkeep. And if you guys can see this, it looks like Portugal already has colonies in the northeastern coast of South America, and it looks like Spain does as well. This is going to be hard, guys, as my country is not quite technologically advanced yet to face off in a fair match. And wow, would you look at that. I mean, Portugal is spamming colonists. We have, I believe, 4 or 5 colonies going up at the same time. Really, really not good news for us. But it happens. And if Portugal had any territory, I'd start being able to, you know, actually increase our relations with them. I'm definitely going to have to either ally myself with Spain or Portugal if possible. That way we can play each other off of the other. And this looks like the territorial extent of Portugal, Brazil. I'm really going to try to prevent them from getting to the Rio de la Plata by kind of colonizing to the southeast to take this coast, to prevent them from getting past this area, and then also moving north, of course, to border them eventually. That's my hope. So, in the meantime, we will be sending this particular regiment up here to explore that particular area. And I'm really not looking forward to Portuguese Brazil. It looks like a pretty strong state. We can go ahead and check really fast. Of course, the ledger will change over time. Portuguese Brazil, force limit of 32. Very, very, very scary. Considering we only have a force limit of 34, and we are technologically inferior, of course. But eventually we will be able to westernize, so that's the good news. The bad news is that it might take a little while. So we can do another idea group. Of course, we will go down to increase our settler speed. That's very important. Time is of the essence, and we are running out of time. The more settling ability that we get, the better, of course. And the settling is actually decreased by, I believe, the tropical attributes of this area. No surprise there. My next colony will be over here in Araxes. That way I can conquer Tepuya and spread up here where Portugal is spreading like a cancer across this land. I mean, really, I don't even know how they're spreading so fast, but I believe that Portugal gets a bonus to colonization. Let's... should we go with the stab hit or legitimacy hit? We're going to go with the legitimacy hit. Not very good, but, you know, what can you do about it? Okay, so... once again, let's find out where our Right, okay, so they're heading up here to the northeast, so we can go ahead and meet Spain and start increasing our relationship with them. Eventually, I hope to be able to adopt Catholicism. That way, I'll get a better, you know, I won't get that heathen casus belli. That is pretty terrible. I mean, it's really, really bad. And also, I would like to block off Spain from going down here too far. I might decide to colonize one of these areas. And actually, I can colonize off of Spain as soon as I believe as soon as I integrate Muisca. So that's very, very good news. The bad news is, of course, that we are being bordered by 2 colonial powers. More are bound to show up eventually. But lock them out of the coast we shall. In good time. I'm just getting a feel for this territory. Hopefully we can uncover some more natives. That way it'll be easier. We don't have to colonize anything. We can just conquer. And it looks like we have New Granada, which is probably the colonial government that's being established over here. Let's go ahead and get vision on it. I really want to be friendly with them as much as possible. And Arawak, which will probably accept my vassalization. Let's go ahead and make a diplomatic effort into vassalizing them. The faster we do that, the better. It's a race against time against New Granada. Let's see. Yes, they are threatened by me. We will increase our relationship to the point where we will be able to diplomatically annex them. That's very, very good news. And by the same token, we will be improving relations with New Granada as soon as our relations with Portuguese Brazil have gotten to a sufficient extent. Right now, actually. So time to improve our relationship. And like I said, just like a cancer, colonization spreads across this land. Penal colony in Ofei. Where is Ofei? Yes, let's do that. It'll increase up the speed. Very, very nice. I'm kind of at a impasse here, gentlemen and ladies. I think that I should probably start colonizing here to prevent this corridor from being open to Western European colonization, but I'm not sure because I would like to spend most of my colonies over here in Brazil. It's a tricky situation. Maybe even eventually border these guys so I can vassalize them. I just really don't know at this point. So in the interim, we will go north or northwest to explore these lands. See what's going on in the Yucatan Peninsula and Mesoamerica. The royal faction is almost dead, I believe, which is very, very good. And we are sending men up here once again. It's a shame that most of these territories only give 1 base tax, but I guess that is a dual-edged sword, as... what was I going to say? As the Western Europeans only get the 1 base tax as well, although, of course, the territories that are closer to Europe and North Africa are probably richer. I really could use another settler eventually. That would really help. It seems like the penal colony that I just established is causing quite a bit of hassle with the natives. It's not a problem. Juji, Wankapampa. Let's just give them local autonomy, that's fine. I'm sure it's a 1 base tax province anyways. We're not worried about that. And I really don't need to explore too far up here. I was just hoping that we would find more people to trade with. And now we're in the heart of Mesoamerica. Maybe we'll come across the Aztecs pretty soon, or the Mayans. We're getting pretty close to modern-day Mexico. There we go. And it looks like there's another colony being set up here. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's not a colony. I lied. What would be pretty cool is if I set up a, you know, an Incan colony up here. But I won't be able to get that until I believe I'm Catholic and have the casus belli from exploration ideas. So that'll take a little extra time, but that's fine. We have all the time in the world. So in the interim, I will be sending the explorer south. We're going to map out all of South America that we can. And let's go with the diplomatic ideas. The town of Quaca is almost completely finished, which is very, very good news for us. We will be able to send yet another settler into the fray. Where we should send it, I don't know. But I'd like to send it someplace that doesn't have the malaria malice, like this current place doesn't, which is nice. I'm thinking about setting it up here so that I can have easy access to westernization. The faster I do that, the better. Uh-oh, they're at war with Castile. That's very, very bad news. They will accept vassalization, but I'm not sure if I'm ready to be dragged into a war with New Granada. I'm really not sure, guys. Because New Granada is not that big, actually. But I would have to fight off Castile as well. Should I do it? You know, it's just probably not worth it at this point. I mean, don't get me wrong, it is a nice province. It has 5 base tax, but because we are at a disadvantage here, we have to learn when to pick or fight. And in this case, it's just not worth it. So we will let them fall. Hopefully they'll become a protectorate if we're lucky. If we're unlucky, they will become a part of New Granada. But it's my hope that they don't. And that we are somewhat lucky. Pretty soon we will be able to integrate Muesca into our territory. And we are losing money at a very, very fast rate. I think that we can only really sustain 2 settlers at a time, but we can always try. Brazil is rapidly settling across this land down here. It makes me really, really nervous. Of course, I don't want them to be settling down here. It's very, very bad news for us. The more colonial governments they make, the worse for us, of course. That goes without saying. I think we got incredibly unlucky with the rate that's going on here. Let's go with, we don't want to lose our colony, of course, especially now that it's almost created. And almost created it is, as I believe it just popped. Or will just pop here in a second. We're sending this guy here. And our colony has become self-sustaining. Where should we send our next regiment of colonists? I don't know. Looks like we have to even core the province that we made, which is really silly, but it is what it is. I believe the next bet would probably be trying to block off the Spaniards from settling south of modern-day Colombia. Be better if we got closer, though, first before we did that. Or even if we colonized Meridia. That would probably be the best. And we can annex Muisca now. Let's do that. I could colonize here to completely block them off, but then I would be forfeiting everything north. So... See, there's a lot of difficult choices we have to make here. See, I just don't know at this point. I really want to be able to help my people out. But they're in a very tricky spot. I decided that we're going to send our unit to Meta. That way we can block off the Spaniards. And then we will be focusing on blocking off the Portuguese. Of course, the Muiscan Patriots are now getting a little bit Ippity. Let's go to harsh treatment them. Alright, so the new colony of Meta will be up here momentarily. And there we go. Our truce with Muisca has ended. So another colony is there. And let's go ahead and send it back to here. The faster we get this colony set up, the better, because that means that we can push further closer to Portuguese territory. With any luck, block them off from further expansion, but I'm not holding my breath, as Portugal seems to be spreading like an absolute cancer. All we can do at this point is hope that we can vassalize as many of these guys as we can. We're going to lose prestige, that's fine. And in the same token, we are going to be going south to explore the rest of South America. Let's see what we can find in the jungles. We're going south to modern-day Argentina and Chile. So my hope that we can find some more native tribes to assimilate into our culture. We really, really need to westernize at this point. It's getting to be pretty bad. And we are still losing money, most unfortunately. I was thinking about downsizing our military, but with this amount of Europeans, it's probably not a good idea. I need to make a wall to prevent further expansion. I'm just not sure where I should put the wall. I'm thinking about kind of going along these provinces here, because we all know that the pesky Europeans will dig deeper and deeper into South America until they control the majority of it. Let's do a quick checkup on this area. It looks like so far we're okay with the Spaniards. They haven't decided to spread faster into the territory or into the interior. You know, if we got really lucky, they would start fighting each other, and we would use that opportunity to declare war on them. But I'm not going to get into a war with the Western Europeans until we are westernized, because it would be suicide if I you know, didn't wait for that particular moment. Next one we want to colonize will probably be... If I went south, I would be able to take the Guarani into the folds, but perhaps now is not the time to initiate a conflict with them. So let's go ahead and colonize Araxis. I believe that's a pretty good call. Of course, we're going to need more money. I'm thinking about, you know, reducing my upkeep on my units. Perhaps downsizing quite a bit. Now is a good time to downsize. We really need to be able to afford 3 colonists at the same time, or at least 3 colonies at the same time. That is very, very important if we are to survive in the late game, or even in the mid game. We will be doing most of our conquering of these colonies in, I believe, the 1600s, as soon as we get established here. Right, so now we're making a little bit more dosh. We're going to recall this settler so that we can focus on settling this area. The faster I establish these cities, the better. Of course, if I have a settler in the city, it will establish a colony much faster, and that's important. Very, very important. As you guys can hear, my alarm has gone off, which signals the end of this particular Let's Play. But stay tuned, as there's a lot more to come within this particular series. I mean, we've came into conflict with the Europeans. Our contact, I should say, not conflict yet. But the next Let's Play will definitely involve at least presumed westernization as we integrate the Muisca, and the Spaniards are even in Panama now, which is not very good. But then again, the Spanish Inquisition is never good, especially when they come to the New Worlds, looking for riches. We will not be anybody's slave. We will fight to the very end. And it is on this note that I hope you guys appreciated this current episode. Please leave a like and a subscribe if you enjoyed it. Feel free to comment. And I'll see you guys next time on the next episode.